don't let Satan in your conversation. Don't let Satan in your conversation. All right. Of course, I'm Officer Baruch, and I got the mighty.
Officer Manuel.
So we're gonna jump into it. It's not gonna be a crazy long class. Just want to make sure we got our minds governed with God's commandments. All right. So as far as our conversation goes, how we deal with each other, you know, the mindset of when we out in the world as well. You know, making sure we're not putting a stain on this ministry. So I'm gonna jump right into it. Make sure you got your pens, your pencils, paper, like leadership always says, so we can make sure we get these notes right. All right. So it's a couple things I want to look at as far as Satan in your conversation, making sure he's not there. And it's a few things, it's many things or many ways that we see that Satan can get inserted. One of the main things is the world. When you haven't really cut off the world, Satan is really you'll notice him in your conversation. Also lying. When you got a lying spirit, when you can't when every other word you say or every other conversation you have to lie, then Satan is in your conversation. And then anger. Anger is a big one too, though. You tell them when you correct a person, or you can tell when a brother just always argue back when it's not even a moment where you should even have a discourse like that. When you should be having a back-to-back moment, then you know Satan in the conversation. All right, so there's a few things we're going to dive into. And I want to start with Satan in your conversation dealing with the world. All right, let's go to 1 Corinthians 15 and verse 33.
This is the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 15 and verse 33. Be not deceived. Evil communications corrupt good manners.
So that's one thing. I don't know if y'all heard of this before, but it's a saying in the world, like you know how much somebody, you know who they how they act or who they are, or what characteristics they have or personalities by the people they associate themselves with. You know how much somebody make based on a group of people they associate themselves with. So we as, you know, spiritual leaders, we can see this person really not around people in the truth like that, because evil communication will come, and then and you will just hear it in their speech. You'll hear it when they conversating with you or with another brother and you walking by, or with a sister. You're like, dang, that's like we don't talk like that in this truth, in this walk. Or most of us, we know that's not the way we should talk, but you'll hear it. And a lot of times it's this right here. Read it again.
Be not deceived. Evil communications corrupt good manners.
It goes into that evil communication. Who are you around outside of these doors? When you leave here, are you with your mama all the time that's in the world? Are you with your cousins? Are you still hanging around your friends in the world? Are you still like that? Then we know that evil communication is corrupting you. The good manners, what? The laws of God. How to govern your speech. How you carry yourself. All of these things are being stripped from you when you go right back into those people that are in the world. And that's the thing that destroys us. We have to know Satan is inserted. That's when Satan is there in the midst. Because all you hear is nigga, you see, you know, this dude, this and that, all that crazy stuff. Sisters be hearing and brothers be around, and what they see and what they watch. And we know music is a big thing too, just like the topics we go over on Let's Talk Truth. Music is a big thing that'll get Satan right back into your speech and the way you speak to it or talk to brothers and sisters. All right, let's go to Romans 12. Romans 12 and verse 2. So if you haven't, jump to verse 1 first. Go to 1 first.
Yes, sir. This is the book of Romans, chapter 12 and verse 1.
Come on.
I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the
Read.
mercies of God,
Uh-huh.
that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service.
So if you haven't really made your body a living sacrifice, then what's wrong? What's the issue? You still a part of the world. You still allowing the world to have some room in your brain of the way you act. Well, now your conversation is the way. And it can't be like that. But keep going.
And be not conformed to this world.
It says what?
Be not conformed to this world.
The Bible tells you not to be conformed to this world. Read.
But be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind.
But you have to be transformed by the renewing of your mind. You have to be converted again. You have to be converted. Be not conformed to this world, because the world, we know this world is going to pass away. And all that craziness, all the speech they have, all this music, the way that your parents, you told them about the truth, your friends you done told about you, they ain't want to walk in this walk, this faith, they going to burn forever. They going to burn. The world is going to burn. So you still want to be a part of that? You're going to make it all the way to the wilderness. You done made it all through these captivities to this point where you learning the truth. We're in the last hour. You get in the wilderness, but your mind Satan is still in your mind. You haven't really converted in your mind because your speech is a certain way. You see it in your speech. You're not going to make, you're going to burn. That's going to be a shame. That's going to be a shame. You done battled, you done went through all this with us, through all these times, brothers falling out, talking bad about you, this, whatever the case may be, to get to the wilderness, and your mind, Satan is still in there somewhere. And it's going to show. You can't hide it. It's too late then. You're not going to be able to hide it. You have to get it right now. You have to be, what does it say again? Read that part again.
But be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind.
You have to have this mind change. You have to be converted. You have to subdue your understanding of certain things that was in this world and purge it out and come to the laws of God. We have to have a standard. We mentioned this many times. If we royalty, is Queen Elizabeth, which is not a queen, is she in the news media talking crazy? Is she on Twitter talking crazy? You see her on Facebook talking crazy? Do you see that? No. Because a standard of somebody that's royal or some royalty, they're going to cover their mouth a certain way. They know that this can harm what's the image, which is Christ and God. You understand? This can harm this truth, this movement, if I speak this way, if I carry myself this way. You can't have that happen. But keep going.
That ye may prove what is good and acceptable and perfect will of God.
And the perfect will of God, the commandments. We can prove these things by applying it. But we have to do this. We have to be that example. We have to govern ourselves. So that's one of the ways we know that when we see that Satan is in somebody's conversation, because it's still of the world. They still of it. All right, let's go to Ephesians 5 and verse 15.
This is the book of Ephesians, chapter 5 and verse 15. See then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise.
Right, so circumspectly, meaning cautiously. So when you out in the world, you got to walk a certain way. You have to walk a certain way. Your mind has to be a certain way. You can't sit amongst people too long. You can't do that, because eventually it's going to you're going to get drained right back into it. Those conversations that you love so much back in the world is going to be on you, and now you just can't let it go. It feels good to gossip. It feels good to gossip. It feels good to lie. These things feel, and that was in the world. That's some stuff. It felt good because it's of the flesh. It ain't of the spirit. It ain't good for you. You can't heal from that. We have to have our minds. We have to be afraid to act a certain way, to have our minds corrupted. We have to be afraid of these things because these things can conquer us and pull us out and drain us. Is that it on that?
That's it on that.
All right, let's go to Colossians chapter 4. Verse 5.
This is the book of Colossians, chapter 4 and verse 5.
Come on.
Walk in wisdom toward them that are without. Redeeming the time.
Right. So when we in the world, we this is meaning when we step outside of these doors and we're not around our peers in this truth and we out there, we have to walk in wisdom. We have to walk in wisdom. And it says redeeming what?
Redeeming the time.
And redeeming the time. We got to know that if, especially like it's you go around your family, and a lot of times this will happen. Your family will call you when it's a birthday, when it's something special, and they want to try to deceive you to get you go there and do this. That's when they want to deal with you. Now they ain't calling you now, but they gonna call you around these holidays, this and that. You got to redeem the time. Meaning okay, I know I can't be over there then. I know this is the conversations they having now is going to lead up to, hey, you want to go, what's your name birthday today? Look, I don't want to be in the midst of that. I don't want to have that in my mind. So you got to use wisdom in the way you walking. Okay, all right, well, I got to go. I got something to do. Some brothers need me, somebody need me. Get out of there. Call the brother, escape from that. You have to have some way, some kind of maneuver to have to get you out of these conversations, to get you away from this mindset of the world. And we gotta roll like that. We gotta have that. It's gotta be on our mind constantly, so we can know. Okay, this is how the scriptures tell me: redeem the time, or to walk cautiously. So I gotta get out of here. I gotta keep moving. You at work and somebody having a conversation with you, and this happened to me many times. I was like, bro, nah. Brother try to trick you. He'll have a phone. He'll have the phone like this. He said, man, you seen this on there? And then he'll try to deceive you. And it'd be something crazy on there. And then he'll start talking a certain way about women. Oh, you see that girl over there? Same way with sisters at work. I'm sure y'all deal with the same thing. Sisters gossiping about other men, this and that. You have to avoid these things. You got to just walk away. Leave that conversation. And this is how you play them. This is how you will get them. There's laws put in place at your job for them not to talk like that. So they should know you as, I can't talk around him because my boss might hear about that. Or he's always talking about the Bible. I'm going to feel bad talking like this around this person. Or she's always talking about the word of God. That's how you got to play it. So you won't get caught up in those conversations and Satan to creep in. And we hear, Satan creep in and you allow him to stay there. You just opening doors for more demons to come in you. And all of a sudden, all these spirits that you were able to conquer are slowly creeping back up on you. All from a little conversation. Man, she got a big old butt. Man, that thing was you. Man, this and that, whatever the case. And next thing you know, you like, big old butt. And then you go to the bathroom for some reason. Now you got to go to the bathroom. It's time. But these conversations leads up to it. You have to avoid it. You have to run from it. All right? Is that it on that?
No, sir.
Keep going.
Verse 6. Let your speech be always with grace, seasoned with salt, that ye may know how ye ought to answer every man.
Right. So now your mind got to be a certain way. You got to have a way you can talk to get you out of those different conversations, like we were just talking about. You have to know how to carry yourself. You got to have the right answers, but your spirit won't be guided right properly if you don't be around the men that does it, or if you're not in the laws of God. If you're not saying, oh, you in here saying, oh, he avoided this by this. Oh, the scriptures tell me I can't act this way. I can't be like this. And these things can help you. All right? Finish that. Is that it?
Yes, sir, that's it.
All right, let's go. Let's keep going. Let's go to 2 Peter. 2 Peter 3 and 11.
This is the book of 2 Peter, chapter 3 and verse 11.
Come on.
Seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, What manner of person ought ye to be in all holy conversation
Right.
and godliness?
So it says, seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of person shall you be in all holy conversation? Holy conversation. We know this stuff is going to leave us. This stuff going to pass away. How you going to carry yourself? How you going to move? How's your conversation going to be? Keep going.
Looking for and hasting unto the coming of the day of God, wherein the heavens being on fire.
I'm sorry. Go back where you at. I'm in the wrong book anyway. Go ahead.
Verse 11.
Yeah.
Seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ought ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness?
And godliness. And godliness. That goes back to the thought of if you have a royal mindset, you won't put yourself in certain situations. You know these things are carnal. You know this is of the flesh. You won't go down that path. You'll leave it. You'll have a holy conversation. And that's how we have to roll. Because the world will pass away. Believe it or not, it's going to pass. It's going to burn. It's going to burn. That's not going to benefit you at all to have that mindset, to think like that, to allow your speech to be of the world. It's no benefit. Now, I know we use certain things or examples that we can edify with, classes and stuff like that. But if we just always hearing you talk about work all the time, whether it's like, what can I do to build my job, make my job better? Well, then, like, something wrong with you, man. Like, you allow Satan to enter you that much where you really don't care about this work because you always talking about that. Whether it's always talking about, what do you call this, sports all the time. We'll talk about it here now and then, but all the time, really? Like, you talk about sports so much, now you talking about soccer. Who watch soccer like that? There ain't not that many black people over here watching soccer like that. Or hockey. This brother talking about hockey now. What are you doing? But you're allowing Satan to have your conversation. Now you can't have a normal conversation about the Bible. The Bible, this is normal. You can't have a normal this should be normal. This should be the norm. You can't have a normal conversation of what was Paul talking about with this? What Christ said this and Christ did that. All your talk is this and that. It's crazy.
Hey, let me get a script on that. Matthew 12:34. Just to go with the officer's saying. When brothers talking about stuff like that all the time, it reveals what they're occupied in. All right, read that.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 12, and verse 34. O generation of vipers, how can ye, being evil, speak good things? For out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh.
So out of the abundance of the heart.
Check.
Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. So you only gonna speak what's on your mind. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
What you filling your brain with. So if all you doing, all you caught up in is sports, if that's all you watching, all you listening to is really rappers and all of that, that's what your conversation gonna be. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna bring up breakdowns and precepts and stories, history out of the scriptures, how to build brothers and sisters up and all that. That ain't gonna be in your conversation. It's gonna be about, who the hottest rapper, who just won the,
right.
people, brothers. I mean, like you said, we talk about that stuff every now and then, but if that's always your conversation, that's revealing what you spend your time on the most, what you spend your time doing the most, because you only speaking from what's in your brain.
Exactly. Like brothers talk about the hip hop awards. I ain't seen none of those in like damn, what the hell? Who in there? What does that matter? But you'll see that because it's at the forefront. That's at the forefront of your mind. That's dangerous. If that's at the forefront of your mind, it's a scary thing. You're close to committing suicide. because you're going to go right back into this world and be dead again. And you got to change that. All right? Let's go to Leviticus chapter 19. And this is another thing, brothers that lie. Now, we know this is big. Like, this is big. You know, unfortunately, a brother's told that here not too long ago, explaining that was one of the issues he had. But this is an issue that a lot of people have. And one of the things is because we know that we're not organized enough. I think you posted something the other day about that. Like, if we don't make sure we have our time ordered right or this or that, if we not organized in our business that'll lead up to us making right decisions, then now we got to say, well, I did this or something. You got to make an excuse. You got to lie so it make it seem like you were innocent. But you're lying. You're not innocent in the eyes of God. All right? Read what you got.
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 19, and verse 11. Ye shall not steal, neither deal falsely, neither lie one to another.
That's one thing that's big in our conversations. And that's that thing right there, you know that Satan is in the midst. When you are accustomed to lying. When your conversation is, hey, bro, where you been? Well, my mama needed. First of all, if you say something like that, we're going to have to get you because your mama ain't in this. You know, we know you got to honor your parents, but if, like, you got to go do something for your mama first when it ain't really, it's nothing, then you something wrong.
Hey, when we was teaching to the wind, you mentioned that, like, an example of how brothers be lying is when they basically not handling their business, when they're not prioritizing, when they're not planning, organizing, and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? You're doing stuff like oversleeping. You know what I'm saying? Forgetting to show up for this and this and that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So you don't want to just say, like, I overslept, or I was doing this, I was doing that. Like, you want to, like, make it sound good. You know what I'm saying? You want to, like, stretch, like.
You stretch it.
Like, let's say, for example, you had to be at MOV at 6:30. And you didn't leave the house. You live in Conway. And you didn't leave the house till 6:15. Everybody know Conway is 30 minutes from the school. So you know you're going to be late. But when you get on the freeway, it's a little traffic. Because, you know, like the day war, like it be some traffic getting on the freeway.
Right.
So a brother say, you know, he'll show up 30 minutes later or whatever, but he'll say, I'm late because the traffic was crazy. No, you late because your ass was late. You didn't leave the house till 6:15. But you a lie. You know what I'm saying? Like, brothers are stretched because they'll be ashamed of, you know what I'm saying? Basically not taking accountability for handling their business, doing what they supposed to do.
That's some scary stuff for you to feel comfortable even doing that. It's scary. Now, we done fell into it. We know many of us have fell into these things, but if it's a constant thing that you do, you got to examine that thing. You have to cut it off because Satan is now conquering your conversation. Satan is dealing, now you dealing with Satan. Satan is talking to you in your head, and then you talking to your officer. You talking to your leader. You talking to your peer, your brother. But it's really Satan. And that's some scary stuff.
Hey, real quick, it's Sirach 20 and 24. What you doing is, because a lot of brothers get caught in their lies. And a lot of times, I be knowing a brother BSing. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, you got to let the Most High let stuff manifest or whatever. But, you know, what you're doing when you're doing that is destroying the trust, you know, of your brother. Whoever you lying to, whether it's a peer or a leader or whoever, you destroying that trust with them. Sirach 20 and 24.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 20 and verse 24. A lie is a foul blot in a man.
A lie is a foul blot in a man, meaning a stain. When somebody know you're accustomed to lying, you have that on your name. That's you have a reputation for lying.
Right.
So we're not going to trust you. We're not going to put you over certain stuff. You know what I'm saying? We not gonna mention you when certain stuff come up, you know, to get the job done or to go here or go there. You know what I'm saying? That's a foul blot on your name once you're accustomed to lying. Read.
Yet it is continually in the mouth of the untaught.
It's continually in the mouth of the untaught. Brothers that don't be on the classes, don't be paying attention to the bishop. It's one thing to be present in the building, you know what I'm saying, or to have a Zoom just up on your phone,
Right.
than to be active listening. It's a very big difference. What I noticed with a lot of brothers in IUIC Arkansas, even the leaders, like when we do conference calls, a lot of brothers just don't be paying no damn attention. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
You're right, yeah.
You can't be taught if you're not paying attention. That's what it says in Sirach 6. If you would apply thy mind, you're going to be taught. That means you're paying attention. You're listening attentively. But if you never paying attention, you never engaging your mind into what's being taught, you're going to be one of them brothers that's always lying because you lack the fear of the Lord. All right, read on.
A thief is better than a man that is accustomed to lie,
Read.
but they both shall have destruction to heritage.
So it says a thief is better than a man that's accustomed to lying. Because one thing about it, when you know somebody a thief, you just gotta guard your stuff. You know to put stuff away.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You got a fundraiser. He can't have the money.
Yeah, like
Right.
it's easy. Once you know a brother a thief, you can prevent him from stealing because you know. But when a brother is accustomed to lying,
Woo, professional.
you can't believe nothing that come out of his mouth ever. You know what I'm saying? You can never trust that brother. For real. But both of them gonna be destroyed. Read on.
The disposition of a liar is dishonorable, and his shame is ever with him.
Right, so the disposition of a liar is dishonorable. The way you carry yourself, you know what I'm saying? It's dishonorable. All right? So brothers, y'all gotta stop doing it. So it will behoove you to stay in the scriptures and attentively listen to these classes that come out so your conscience will, you know what I'm saying, like strike it down when you got the temptation to lie. You'll understand like, whoa, you know what I'm saying? I'm finna commit a major violation right now. Let me just keep it real. Let me just speak truth with my neighbor. The Most High gonna show favor with me when I do that.
Yes, sir. Hey, go to Proverbs 19 and let's read verse 5. Hey, that's like you remember the story growing up, the boy that cried wolf. He lied so long they ain't believe him, and that's, you know, it was true. So you brothers, you will talk into existence of what you say. If you lying all the time about something, it's gonna happen. Like, man, it was a bad car wreck. You might be in that car wreck next time. You might be in that, so you better examine that thing. Stop that. Read what you got.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 19, and verse 5.
Uh-huh.
A false witness shall not be unpunished,
Uh-huh.
and he that speaketh lies shall not escape.
That's the same thing he was just saying. Like, that false witness will not go unpunished. And those that lie, you will not escape. You're going to die. You're going to have a judgment put up on you if you continue to stay that way. Your mind is like that. So the thing would be to examine to prevent these things. Examine it and then prevent these things by taking care of your business. Accountability, all right? Let's go to Proverbs 17 and verse 4.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 17, and verse 4.
Uh-huh.
A wicked doer giveth heed to false lips,
Uh-huh.
and a liar giveth ear to a naughty tongue.
So this thing right here, a wicked doer, a person that's wicked, they're going to give heed to false lips. That's that person that's still allowing Satan to govern their conversation. Now, when that liar come, when you wasn't in the Bible, when you wasn't around keeping the commandments, or you were untaught, now when that liar come, now you in the midst of that. You couldn't examine and see, oh, this is a lie right here. Now some people real strong at it, and they can just lie their head off and you won't even know. But understand the Most High is going to reveal that thing. Remember, no secret thing is going to be unrevealed. It's going to come out eventually. It's going to come out. So read it again.
Verse 4.
Uh-huh.
A wicked doer giveth heed to false lips,
Uh-huh.
and a liar giveth ear to a naughty
A
tongue.
lie will give ear to another tongue. You will fall subject to these things. So the thought would be to make sure you get away from this. Get away from this. If you know that this person lies, first rebuke them, but make sure you're not around this person like that. Because this person, he ain't going to do nothing but lie. She ain't going to do nothing but lie. Then they're going to have to start realizing, why nobody want to be around me? Oh, I'm that person they're talking about. But somebody on this call right now will not hearken to what we're saying. These things are going to come out, and they're still going to follow that same way. You're still going to fall into it. Go to Revelations, chapter 21, verse 8. Remember, this is the last book of the Bible. It's talking about the kingdom of God, heaven, all right? This is where we all want to go. Watch this.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 21 and verse 8.
Come on.
But the fearful and the unbelieving and the abominable and the murderers and the whoremongers and the sorcerers and the idolaters and all liars shall have
So we know the scriptures tell you about the fearful, the unbelieving, the abominable, the murderers, the whoremongers, the sorcerers. These people, you in the category with this type of people. Idolaters. And then it says liars. Hey, he had to squeeze that on in there. He said liars. We got murderers. You got people that do sorcery, witchcraft. You got people that worship other gods. But a liar is still a part of that list. And it said a liar what?
shall have their part in the lake, which burneth with fire.
You
and
will not
brimstone.
escape. You're going to die. You're going to burn. If you have that spirit on you, if your conversation, you are letting Satan win. He's in your conversation consuming you because you just can't stop lying. You can't be truthful. And these are bad things. These are evil, wicked things we have to purge. Read on.
Fire and brimstone,
Uh-huh.
which is the second death.
Right, and you're going to die that death. You're going to die that. You're going to burn forever. And you ain't going to think about lying then. You're going to think about, how can you get these flames off of me? With this flame hurt. That's where your head going to be at. But hey, look, you have to purge these spirits out. You have to purge these spirits out of you, all right? So we're going to go into anger now. So we went over worldly conversations, lying. Now we need to deal with anger because this is a big thing with a lot of brothers. You know, I see it amongst sisters every now and then, but I ain't around sisters like that to really notice it. But you men, I see it on you. We see it on you. We see brother. We'll talk to a brother and all of a sudden it's like, damn, this brother mad. What you you angry for? What's up? Why your spirit like that? All right, let's go. Let's go to Ephesians chapter 4. Ephesians 4, let's read verse 26.
This is the book of Ephesians, chapter 4, and verse 26.
Uh-huh.
Be ye angry and sin not.
Uh-huh.
Let not the sun go down upon your wrath.
Right. So that's a spirit you gotta have. It's a point of being angry, but don't sin. Like you might be, like we say, oppression make a wise man mad. But we're not gonna go get guns and kill somebody. But this person, they won't see this scripture. They would just, this will be over them. They'll be angry, and then actually, you done had this. We done literally had brothers be angry, upset for a conversation, and then they'll hang up on you. Like, you disrespectful, beep, 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 brother. What's going on with you? Like, this brother would do that. You talking about disrespecting your leadership because you getting corrected for some stuff you did. Now you want to get angry. Now you want to go, now you in sin. Because now it's starting to build hatred upon you. And that's a bad spirit. And that spirit, that anger spirit leads to pride. It really just leads to pride. You just prideful. You got corrected. Maybe you were on speaker and you heard somebody in the background, or whatever the case. Maybe you was maybe you were on speaker yourself and your wife heard it. Maybe the anger is from your wife. You got to correct this thing. You have to. You have to have that mind. You have to. And we talking about anger here, dealing with your peers or dealing with somebody in the world. You can't have it. You can't get where it puts you into sin. You can't have that happen, all right? Let's go to Proverbs chapter 15. Don't let it conquer you. A lot of brothers deal with anger, but you have to control it. Go to leadership. Go to the leadership. And this is perfect. This is why we know the Spirit of the Most High is with our elders, our leadership, because they'll say, brothers want to go ask questions about deep parables, this and that, but they don't ask things how to help the congregation, how to help themselves, how to build themselves. One of the things you ask is, how do I help people with anger? How to help myself with anger? These are some of the things you can ask. Your leadership, this is how you get help. So if you're dealing with anger, go to your leadership. Go there and get help. Don't just sit there and just, fueling the anger. You see something that's irritating or whatever, and now you get mad of it. Go to the leadership, get help. Because remember, we came out of the world. It was a lot of stuff that made us angry. And we got that stuff still in our minds that make us angry, and then it start to manifest in this community here. The community of righteous men, righteous sisters. We can't have that. Read what you got.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 15, and verse 1.
Come on.
A soft answer turneth away wrath, but grievous words stir up anger.
Right. So a soft answer turn away wrath. A lot of times when we having these conversations, we're dealing with brothers, you put the anger upon yourself when you can't just give a direct answer, when you got to have some other thing that leads to you getting rebuked harder than it should have been anyway, or it would have been. You putting that up on yourself. Now you mad, but something you said when you could have just said yes instead of saying, well, I had to do this. Well, what happened here? Well, the order changed, or this may have changed. Like we have a conversation the other day on the phone about security. You want to get mad now. You want to get mad and I'm out of here. Listen, all you got to do is say understood. Understood was this way, understood. And just keep it moving. But this says, read it again.
A soft answer turneth away wrath, but grievous words stir up anger.
But that grievous words stir up anger. Now you at a point where it ain't that we're defending ourselves or somebody defending us. It's just they have to correct you for what you just said. Because you was stirring up anger. You was stirring it up. You got to have that. Our minds have to be properly structured to have right conversations, righteous conversations. Learn how to deal with your brother. Don't let it be based on hate. Don't let it be based on pride. All right? Jump down to verse 18.
Verse 18. A wrathful man stirreth up strife, but he that is slow to anger appeaseth strife.
Right. A wrathful man stir up strife. That spirit you will have, you want to get into it. You want it. I seen a video the other day. You know, we have on Let's Talk Truth. We trying to find videos to make sure see what these rappers or whatever the case may be, edifying. I seen a video the other day. Dude was like, he liked killing or some crazy stuff. He liked sin. Basically, he was getting into it. Some people like anger. It's like an adrenaline rush they get, and it make them feel good. That's a wicked spirit. That's a wicked spirit. If you like getting on somebody's nerves. Basically, that's what you're doing. Your leadership like, damn, bro, what? And we see it. But a what? Read it again.
A wrathful man stirreth up strife, but he that is slow to anger appeaseth strife.
But he that is slow to anger appeaseth strife. You have to be slow to anger. You have to find a way to avoid certain things, so you won't get angry. Matter of fact, hey, this is what I wanted to pull too. Give me a definition of anger.
This is the definition of anger.
Come on.
a strong feeling of annoyance, displeasure, or hostility.
Some brothers just have a lot of hostility against brothers. Maybe this brother remind you of somebody else. You got corrected. Click the down thingy on there.
We got annoyance,
Uh-huh.
vexation, exasperation, irritation, irritability, indignation, pike, whatever, displeasure, resentment, rage, fury, wrath, outrage, temper, road rage, air rage, ill temper.
Go to the opposite real quick. So now we see spirits that lead to anger or what it may be. All right, wrath, all of these things, ill temper. You don't know how to temper yourself in this. Come on, drop down to I think it's more on that
On the
opposite. Yeah.
Okay, where'd it go?
Go up, scroll up. Scroll back down. All right, that may be it then. All right.
So,
Go ahead.
pleasure and good humor.
Pleasure and good humor. These things, you should have pleasure in your brother. Remember, the scriptures tell you being around your brothers is, give me that. Give me Psalms 133. But a lot of times we have that anger when, remember, being around brothers helps me from what's in the world. If being around your brothers make you angry, then you got to examine yourself. Something's wrong. Read what you got.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 133 and verse 1.
Come on.
Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together.
It's pleasant for brothers to dwell together, to be on that same mind. But when your conversation is not right, when you bringing everything in the world into this faith, into this walk, then you won't see this scripture as something that can help heal you from the anger problems you have, because you always seeing somebody else as somebody that was out there in the world. Maybe this irritated you, but you were being corrected. And this is something that gets our people all the time, anger. You got something else?
Yeah, real quick, get Sirach 5 and 11. Just want to speak on some concerning anger, like Ephesians 4 when it said, "Be angry and sin not." Some of us gonna piss each other off in this truth.
Right.
It is what it is. The key is discipline. You know what I'm saying? The key is discipline, man. It ain't. Basically, what I'm getting at is, you could be in the spirit. You know what I'm saying? You could be in the spirit. You could be all right. And a brother just flat out piss you off. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
A brother push that button and it make you mad. All right? But it's all about discipline. Read what you got.
The book of Sirach, chapter 5 and verse 11. Be swift to hear, and let thy life be sincere, and with patience give answer.
Read.
If thou hast understanding, answer thy neighbor.
Uh-huh.
If not, lay thy hand upon thy mouth.
This is one thing that I had to learn in this truth. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you just got to just be quiet. You know what I'm saying? Because in that moment, you don't got nothing good to say. So you just need to shut the hell up. Like Deacon Laba say self, shut the hell up. You know what I'm saying? Tell yourself to shut the hell up, because what you about to say is finna stir up anger. For real. Get Proverbs 10 and 19. Proverbs chapter 10, verse 19. You're going to be in situations where you just need to be quiet. Because if you say something, it's going to be out of anger. It's going to be because you in your feelings. And it's going to be one of them things that came out that you didn't necessarily mean. You was just pissed off.
Right.
All right? 10 and 19.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 10 and verse 19. In the multitude of words, there wanteth not sin. But he that refraineth his lips is wise.
He that refraineth his lips is wise. This show you got wisdom when you're able to refrain from speaking. You got something to say to this brother. But you know it's not profitable
Right.
right then and there. So you able to refrain. You know what? I'm going to just be quiet. I'm going to just be quiet. That's wisdom. That's wisdom right there. Get James 3. And this is something to help you meditate. I mean, this is something to meditate on to help you apply that discipline when you're in them situations. Because regardless of how a brother or sister treating you, in the moment, you still got to remember they're Israelite. They the apple of God's eye.
Right.
You got to be careful how you deal with your brothers. Read that. 3 and 9.
This is the book of James, chapter 3, and verse 9. Therewith bless we God, even the Father, and therewith curse we men, which are made after the similitude of God.
Right. So it say, we bless God with our mouth. When we send up prayers, we not sitting up there being disrespectful to the Most High. Like, man, take too long to look out for me, head ass. You know what I'm saying? You ain't doing it to the Most High. You ain't
Right.
finna play with him like that. But the same mouth that we only bless God with, the same mouth we disrespect one another. You know what I'm saying? That's what the cursing is going into, disrespect. All right? It said these things ought not to be read on.
Out of the same mouth proceedeth blessing and cursing, my brethren. These things ought not to be so.
Right, because at the bottom of 9 it said that we are made after the similitude of God. Meaning you ain't never seen God ever in your life. The closest that you done got to seeing God was seeing your brother, seeing your sister. That's the closest you done ever been to seeing God. Because we made in the image of God. So when you finna say something bad to your brother, you finna disrespect the hell out of them. Remember, you talking to a child of God. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's the Spirit of God is dwelling in that person. They made after the similitude of God. That's the closest to God you gonna physically get. And you know you don't say nothing bad to God. You ain't even finna play like that. So you gotta apply that discipline whenever you stir it up, whenever that button is pushed, and you wanna let a brother or sister have it. You gotta be able to refrain. Like, nope. Nope. I ain't saying nothing till I calm down. All right.
Hey, verse 13.
Verse 13. Who is a wise man and endued with knowledge among you? Let him show out of the good conversation his works with meekness of wisdom.
Meekness of wisdom. A good conversation out of his works, which the things that, like he was saying, avoid that. Okay, I ain't gonna say nothing. All right, we gotta hear that thought. Let's go to Sirach, chapter 20.
Real quick, let me get one more. Get James 1, verse 26. Hey, pull up the definition of bridle. Bridle. B-R, not damn marriage, bridal shop. B-R-I-D-L-E. All right? Read what you got.
This is the book of James, chapter 1 and verse 26. If any man among you seemeth to be religious.
Right, if any man among you seem to be in the truth, keeping the commandments, read.
And bridleth not his tongue.
But he does not have the ability to bridle his tongue. Read.
But deceiveth his own heart. This man's religion is vain.
Right, so that means he wearing fringes, coming to the Sabbath. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Saying Most High Christ bless. All of that for no damn reason. If you ain't able to bridle your tongue, why are you here? All right, read the definition of bridle, number 2.
This is the definition of bridle. Show one's resentment or anger, especially by throwing up the head and drawing in the chin.
Okay, get the synonyms.
Synonym.
This sound long. That ain't right.
Right.
Go to the Merriam-Webster or something. Okay. All right. Go back up. All right. Read definition 3. Scroll down. Definition number 3.
All right. Definition number 3. Curb, restraint.
Right. So the bridle means to curb or restrain. Apply restraint. Click on that word, restraint. Read number 2.
Number 2, a control over the expression of one's emotions or thoughts.
Read that again.
A control over the expression of one's emotions or thoughts.
So what does this mean? If you in this truth, keeping the commandments, you must have the ability to bridle, meaning restrain your mouth whenever you're dealing with certain emotions or thoughts that will only express negativity to your brother or your sister. You got to be able to exercise restraint, meaning bridle your tongue. If not, you in this truth for no reason.
Whew. Hey,
That was smooth.
Can I say something real quick? Notice the officer was saying exercise, meaning what? That bridling your tongue takes practice. Like every opportunity that you have to practice that, we got to practice it because we rehearsing the righteous acts. That's all I got.
Hey, all praise to the Most High. That was some good stuff right there, y'all. That's why a lot of times we got to look up these words to dive deep into it. It's a few people I know that do that. One of the main ones is Bishop, the bishops in general, but Bishop Yawasop and then Deacon Athan, yep, and then Captain Joshua. They go into it like, hey, these words, they not put in here for us to read over and have no understanding of what it means. We have to dive into it. And these are the things that know that you really sincere about this. You really searching and seeking how to make yourself better. All right? Let's go to Sirach chapter 20, and let's read I want to start at verse 6.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 20 and verse 6.
Uh-huh.
Some man holdeth his tongue.
Now start at 5 first.
Verse 5.
Uh-huh.
There is one that keepeth silence and is found wise.
All right? That's one that keeps silence and that is found wise. You show him wisdom when you can hold that tongue. Come on.
And another, by much babbling, becometh hateful.
Right. So that person that got to think, they got to answer right back or whatever the case may be, too much of that often is what? You're found hateful. Now another spirit has entered into you. Straight off of you just being able to just hold off and examine what he's talking about, what this person's saying, and then just taking it easy rather than just you got to go back and forward. And that's the spirit we can't roll in. Keep going.
Some man holdeth his tongue because he hath not to answer.
Some man hold his tongue because he ain't got the answer. It really ain't no wise. Look, if you know that this is gonna make you angry, or if this is, well, just hold it in. My answer is not the right answer because I'm gonna say something that's wrong. It ain't right. Keep going.
And some keepeth silence, knowing his time.
Some keep a silence knowing his time. Even when we're dealing with precepts, what the case may be, but when brothers talking and dealing with, the time. You'll know the time when to speak. Maybe that time may be a Matthew 18 situation, but it ain't for you to be like blah, blah, blah. You take it to the side, cool it down, and then you go whatever you got to do. If it's that serious, if it's sin involved. Got to say that a few more times. That's when the 18 come. Brothers just think it's because you call them fat and there's an 18 moment. No, when sin is involved, when the brother's showing hatred to you. All right? Let's go to Philippians. Yeah, go ahead.
Verse 7. A wise man will hold his tongue till he see opportunity.
Uh-huh.
But a babbler and a fool will regard no time.
Right, that babbling the fool will regard no time. They just gonna blurt whatever they want to say that's on their mind. Whether it's good and evil or whether it's wise, but you still gonna hold your tongue if it was wise. You'll know when to properly go and say it. But that person that's always dealing in anger, that they gonna be ready to go back and forward. All right?
But just to go back to the thought, like I was saying, sometimes it's all about discipline, man. It's just knowing when to be quiet. And he just read in Sirach 20, a fool would be a babbler. He will regard no time. He just gonna let it come out.
Mm-hmm.
All right, this is what God said about that.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 29 and verse 11.
Right. So if you're taking notes, because I know before we restarted that I said 19:11. It's 29 and 11. All right, read.
A fool uttereth all his mind.
Read it again.
A fool uttereth all his mind.
So God said only a fool would do that. Because remember, he told us in Mark 7:21, what our mind consists of. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
For real. So if you a damn fool, whatever come to your mind, you just going to blurt it out. And it's going to be, that means you're going to have regrets. You're going to always have to ask people for forgiveness. You know what I'm saying? You're going to always have to retract and take stuff back or go into these explanations and why you said what the hell you said. But that's because you don't have no discipline. You're not catching yourself. All right, this says, a fool uttereth all his mind. Read.
But a wise man keepeth it in till afterwards.
Right, a wise man will keep it in till. That means in order to keep something in until afterwards, real quick, it's Sirach 28:25. In order to keep something in until afterwards, that means when a thought came up, there was something there to stop it from going out. And you was able to stop it right there and say, nah, I'm going to wait until the appropriate time to say this. All right, read what you got.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 28 and verse 25.
And brothers know when I go over anything dealing with conversation or speech, I use this scripture. Read.
And weigh thy words in a balance, and make a door and a bar for thy mouth.
Right, so I didn't use this analogy many, many times before. Like when you pull up at the school, you can't just walk straight up in here. You know what I'm saying? You got to pull out the key, find a little key to unlock the chain. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Take the combination lock off, then open those doors, and then find the other key to unlock the main door, and then you can enter the building. That needs to be the same process when it comes to thoughts before they turn into words. It shouldn't be a thought pops up and it just comes straight out of your damn mouth. That means you have no bar nor door for your mouth. It should be a process. It should be a, is this wise to, you should be able to catch your words. It should be a door. Like, is this worth pulling out a key and turning this lock and unlocking and opening and letting this out of my mouth? It should always be a process with your speech. If you're not able to do that, if you don't have that ability, you got to study. The scriptures say study to be quiet. The scriptures are able to build your brain up to be able to retain speech. You know what I'm saying? To be able to stop your thoughts before they turn into words. That's wisdom. All right?
Hey, that's some beautiful stuff right there. All praises. Hey, we got a few scriptures left. We're going to finish up, y'all. Let's go to Philippians 1:27. So our mind, we got to control our conversations, all right? Conquer these things, all right? Read what you got.
This is the book of Philippians, chapter 1 and verse 27. Only let your conversation be as it becometh the gospel of Christ.
Come on.
That whether I come and see you or else be absent, I may hear of your affairs, that ye stand fast in one spirit.
Come on.
With one mind, striving together for the faith of the gospel.
Right, so we know that Christ ain't he's amongst us, but he ain't walking with us now. But even though he's not with us now, walking physically, we still have to make sure our conversation is governed, all right, with the righteous gospel, pushing this truth, making sure you don't lead your brother into anger or back into worldly thoughts or poor decisions by governing your conversations. All right, we have to have that because one day we're gonna walk with Christ, and he already watched it. He got the angels. These angels right now know what you saying. You gonna say something. They know it. It's being recorded. So why even try to even have that come out of your mouth? Why? Because you know a lot of sin is sin in your mind, right? Like lust, adultery. It's in your mind. But when it manifests and you actually do that thing, that's worse. So you got the thought, if you can restrain it and hold it and don't let it manifest, then you making changes towards being perfect according to the will of God. But we got to make sure our minds is on this gospel. And a lot of brothers don't have that mindset. A lot of sisters don't have it. A lot of sisters ain't folding flyers. A lot of sisters ain't doing fringes at the back. We got to step it up. We got to make sure we write according to the Bible. All right, let's go to 1 Timothy 4. 4 and 12.
This is the book of 1 Timothy chapter 4 and verse 12.
Come on.
Let no man despise thy youth, but be thou an example of the believers in word and in conversation, in charity, in spirit, in faith, in purity.
Right, and y'all see this. And that's why I said you got to go to leadership to ask questions like this. He's a prime example, Officer Emmanuel. Though he's young, but his conversation is wise. Is that, you know what I'm saying? He got a wise conversation. He's governed because he's following this. He know how to talk. He know how to deal with men according to the scriptures. That's what we got to look for. Those are things we have to seek. These are the examples that's in the Bible, and we see it amongst us every day, but we fall back into the world. We fall back into these crazy conversations. And we know Satan he's dwelling in there. But you got to follow the righteous men. See these examples of the young leaders that's coming amongst us. Like we got young captains. We got and their speech is a whole different way than when you see some of these brothers that you see your peers amongst you. Their conversations totally different. They moving with the spirit of the Most High. All right? Let's get Hebrews 13. You got something else? I saw you. Okay, Hebrews 13 and 5.
This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 13 and verse 5. Let your conversation be without covetousness, and be content with such things as ye have.
Right, that's one thing we got to have too. Allowing it to be without covetousness. All right? That brother that said something smooth as heck, and you like, some brothers think they could have done it better. Some people think they could do it better than you. Listen, you ain't even there at that level. Just chill, chillax.
If you can do it better than me, like, do it. Like, I will fall behind you and support the hell out of you.
Right.
I don't know what people be thinking, but I would much rather prefer, I would love to just support somebody that go hard in his truth. Like, I just want to be the sidekick. I want to be the brother that, a brother over me or whatever, traveling. I want to be the armor bearer. I want to be,
right.
You know what I'm saying, the person that got their back when they need a precept. I want to, you know what I'm saying? That's what I want to do. I don't want to be this. I don't want to be the head of the school. I never asked for this. I never asked for rank ever. I would much rather prefer a captain, an 80 or somebody to be here, and I just support them. So if you really if you better at it, man, go in. I'm gonna fall in line. I'm gonna be your biggest supporter. I'm telling you, no cap.
Hey,
no cap.
And that's something right there. Like even the mindset. I know how humble that was, man. He humble as heck. And going into that, brothers, if you can do it better, if you feel like it, just grind hard in this truth. Push it hard. Don't let your conversation be all crazy and stuff. Just do the work. And then the Most High gonna put you in position. But you gotta make sure you follow the right guidelines. Let your conversation be right. Read it again.
Let your conversation be without covetousness.
Without covetousness. Come on.
And be content with such things as ye have.
Be content, but grind hard. Go hard in this truth. And then the things that them thoughts or whatever your mind may have, the Most High let better things, more things be better. The things that you may want, but you got to make sure you're moving right. And we know everything that we do starts here in the mind, in the head. Our conversations, the way what's spewing out of our mouths, It's from our thoughts. So we got to make sure this right. Finish that.
For he have said, I will never leave thee nor forsake thee.
Right. So we got to have this, all right? What else you got, officers?
Yo, real quick, give 1 Maccabees 4:42. 1 Maccabees chapter 4, verse 42.
This is the book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 4, in verse 42. So he chose priests of blameless conversation, such as had pleasure in the law.
Read it one more time.
So he chose priests of blameless conversation, such as had pleasure in the law.
Right. So, especially like you brothers in leadership positions and things of that nature, you got to be very mindful. The scripture talking about people that'll be lying in wait for the tongue. A lot of people, they'll come around you or whatever, and they waiting on you to say something stupid or say something, you know what I'm saying, unwise. Especially like if you young, you know what I'm saying? Because they want to be able to prove like you too young to be that. You know what I'm saying? You ain't you ain't that wise. So people be waiting on you to say something stupid. So it's very imperative that we establish blameless conversation. Can't nobody be able to say that you spewed any type of covetousness or envy or hatred or, you know what I'm saying? Or lust. Like, you don't want to be talking to brothers and you saying like how you would, what you would do to somebody else's woman. You know what I'm saying? Like the example is in Susanna.
Right.
Like them brothers bumped heads with each other, and instead of correcting each other, they like, man, you, bro,
Just don't know.
I knocked the dust off Susanna.
The Doonies.
You, hey, I bet I can hit it better.
Wow.
Well, let's smash them both together and see. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
For real. Because they didn't have pleasure in the law. For real, it said that they lust perverted their judgment and they turned their face away from the scriptures. They went in the opposite direction of the laws. But if you got pleasure in the law, you'll be able to establish blameless conversation. All right, Psalms 50 and 23. This is my last one. Psalms 50 and 23.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 50 and verse 23. Whoso offereth praise glorifieth me. And to him that ordereth his conversation aright will I show the salvation of God.
You see that? So that's heavy right there. Because it read in Revelation 21 and 8, Revelation 21, 27, like if you a liar, you going to inherit hellfire. You know what I'm saying? For real. You know, you're a false witness, stuff like that, you're going to have destruction to heritage. But if you're able to order your conversation aright, then you will get the salvation of God. That means conversation is a very big deal to the Most High. Why? Because out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. You're only revealing the type of person you are. So if your conversation evil, nigga, you evil. You know what I'm saying? But if you cleansing your mind with these laws, you getting your mind right, you're going to be able to order your conversation right. And remember, wisdom comes by the tongue. We able to save souls and all that and build and exhort and correct. All that is by the tongue. That means that you've been able to order your conversation right. And with that, you're going to be able to do the works meet for salvation. All right?
And that's heavy you saying that, because that old saying in the world, sticks and stones may break my bones. But what would it say? But words will never hurt me. Look, that's cap right there. Look, that's power. We know there's power in our tongue. We know. Because whatever, you know, what is put out by the king is made manifest. The king say something, is going to happen. So we got to have that mind, like whatever, the mind that if we think in a certain way, then we probably that way. All right? Watch this. Go to 2 Corinthians 13 and 5. This is the last scripture. But we have to think, y'all. We have to think.
It's the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 13 and verse 5. Examine yourselves whether ye be in the faith.
So now you must examine yourselves. You go through the scriptures of what you're dealing with, as far as how your conversation is governed, whether you always in the world, thinking of the world, talking of the world, whether it's anger, whether it's pride. It's many more things that Satan can get in your conversations with. Many more ways. But we hit on a few that you have to conquer. You have to conquer these things. All right, read it again.
Examine yourselves whether ye be in the faith.
Examine yourselves whether you in the faith. You have to ask yourself this. Come on.
Prove your own selves.
Prove yourselves. When you go through stuff, prove yourself you worthy. Okay, I'm gonna shut up when something happens. Oh, I'm not gonna talk this way. Oh, I'm gonna cut this off so this won't mess with my mind to help me thinking this way. And then I end up speaking this way. Come on.
Know ye not your own selves?
Don't you know yourself? Don't you know when you follow these things or watch these things or around these group of people, whether it's your mama, your aunt, your sister, your brother in the world, don't you know that's feeding off on you? Don't you know that? Come on.
Know ye not your own selves, how that Jesus Christ is in you, except ye be reprobates?
You know you in this walk, this faith, this truth. But if you really don't know, you might be becoming reprobate. You might have a spirit of losing understanding of who we are according to about what we must do to fulfill the will of God. All right? So, hey, y'all, let's get our minds right. There's many more thoughts, many more classes getting on to govern us and making sure we're right, building our spirit. It's a fight that's about to come. It's already here. The battle is here, but it's a bigger battle coming. We're in the last hour. We ain't got no time for foolishness. So make sure we get our minds right, all right, Israel? Hey, all praises to the Most High. Y'all have a great evening. Shalom, Most High Christ bless.
We used to scream black power while Heron was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission, minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold, from Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.